This episode of the Better To podcast is brought to you by Kitty Mystic and DM Needham, author of the Better To Burnout series. Today, I would like to tell you a little bit about one of my favorite places, Synergy Collective, a bohemian lifestyle brand curating wellness for the mind, body, home, and soul. Located in the heart of the Midwest, Rockford, Illinois. Inside the storefront and online, you'll find a beautiful selection of crystals and metaphysical tools, boho apparel and accessories, sustainable home and beauty items, books, candles, and other unique gifts. They also offer a variety of community events, classes, and workshops in their Rockford location, including some select classes that are taught by me. So I invite you to explore the collective at www.shopsynergycollective.com and use code BETTER215 at checkout for 15% off your first online purchase. Hi, gang. Welcome to the Better To podcast. I'm your host, DM Needham, or Donna for short. Anyway, today I have the pleasure of speaking with up-and-coming country star, Presley Tennant. Some of you guys may recognize her from her appearance on The Voice, but that was quite a while ago because she was only 16 and now she's in her early 20s. So she's had quite the career in that time span, and it's only going up from here. So tune in because we talk about The Voice and her working with Kelly Clarkson and so much more. Hey, Donna from the Better To podcast here. If you've listened to my show, you know that it always sounds great. That's thanks to the guys at Third Ear Audio Productions. Third Ear Audio helps podcasters, broadcasters, musicians, and business owners get their important messages out to their audience. Rich and the Third Ear Audio team are easy to work with. They're efficient and understand that your message is important to you. With quick turnaround and the true caring of your needs, Third Ear Audio is your go-to for any audio message. Reach out to Third Ear Audio at 312-388-5596. Rich and his team will deliver for you. That's 312-388-5596, or you could email them at info@thirdearaudio.com or visit them on the web at www.thirdearaudio.com. Hi, Presley. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. So you have had a very big career in a very short amount of time, even though it's not really a short amount of time. In a way it is, because you're still relatively young, but you got your big break around the time you were 16, correct?
Yes, when I was on The Voice when I was 16 years old, and I've been in the music industry from a very young age, which is kind of crazy. Looking back at it, it's not your typical childhood, but I'm so glad it was mine because that was like everything that I wanted to do, and I was like, my life is made, my life is complete at this point. But no, not anymore. There's so many more steps. But during that time, it was one of those things. But I've been in the music industry since I was 10 years old, and then ended up on season 16 of The Voice when I was 16, and now I'm doing my thing now. It's been great so far.
So it's kind of fitting, season 16 and you were 16, so sweet 16, seriously.
Exactly. And on the finale, we ended up singing like Edge of 17. It was literally 2 days before my birthday, and I was like, this is a sign. This was meant to happen.
Definitely. So what made you at 10 years old decide, hey, I want to do music?
So for me, honestly, I really loved karaoke. Like that was like my thing. It was Taco Tuesday at the local Mexican restaurant, and they also had a karaoke night. And so I was always up singing some Heartbreaker by Pat Benatar. So it was one of those things. And then I went online and told my mom I wanted to take singing lessons. And I went online and I found a lady who came to our house. And so I called her up myself. I think I was about 7 years old at this time. And she called my mom back the next day. It's like, your daughter's calling strangers off the internet, inviting them into your home. Like, I think, like, luckily it was just myself. Took vocal lessons from her and then fell in love with music, but I love singing. And then when I got introduced to the girl group, I was doing a little singing competition in Temecula, California. And the mayor of Temecula saw me and introduced me to the person who was the brains of the whole creation of the group. And I think I auditioned for the group like 4 or 5 times, and I got cut. And every single time I went back and I like started working on myself and practicing more and more. And then ended up in the group, and I fell in love with everything that they did, from like rehearsals to performing to recording to writing. I was just like, this is where I'm supposed to be. I know it's somewhere within the music industry, and this is exactly what I wanted to do. And so it was kind of like a shell shock, because I grew up thinking I was going to be playing soccer my entire life. My whole family played soccer. Like my dad, he doesn't play much anymore, but he used to play like in an indoor arena league type thing. And I'd always go. My brothers played, I played. And so I thought it was going to be one of those things where and then see where it ends up, and then I'd get like a normal 9 to 5 type job. And but then once music hit, it was just like, oh no, we're taking the left turn right now. I was homeschooled, and so I can go to rehearsals every day from like 8 in the morning to 4 p.m. And I come back, do soccer practice, and then I was just like, you know what? I need to take time. I really want to. I don't want to be good at everything. I want to be really great at something. And so I put my focus into music at that point forward.
So when you were little, did you have a penchant for running around the house singing too before you actually decided to start calling strangers?
I don't know if you'd call it singing, but yelling, yes.
Fair enough.
It's very loud. I think that's what it was. But then it's kind of funny because I was also the most shy kid ever. I'd always hide behind my mom, and then like it was just like, oh no, I can let go. I can be free now.
You end up deciding, I'm going to pursue music. How did you end up getting on The Voice? I mean, were you scouted, or did you have to go through the long cattle call process?
So for The Voice, I remember I was about 13 years old when they had reached out to me. I think it was through Instagram or something. And the age limit was 15, and I was not able to audition yet. And then it happened again when I was 14, and it still was 15. And I was like, I'm so close yet so far. And then it didn't happen when I was 15. But when I was 16, they reached out one last time. And I'm kind of glad that I wasn't old enough to audition yet, because when you're going into a process like The Voice, you're hanging with the big dogs, and everyone there has been doing music for longer than I've been alive for the most part. And so I was like, these are some big shoes to fill right now. And that was kind of a big thing for me, where I was like, I want to be able to be on stage and also be in the room with them and be at the same level, like mentally, and like I can just hang out with them, and understand what they're talking about. And so they reached out to me, which I got to skip the cattle call, which I felt very spoiled from because there were so many people that did the cattle call, and they waited. I remember they told me, I think that was like they waited in lines like 4 hours long, and they had to do a process. Like it was like another cattle call, and then it was callbacks, but it was still kind of cattle call-ish. But I got to go, and they don't film too far from where I'm from, so it was just a nice 40-minute drive. And then I did a private audition, and then they liked me enough where they were like, okay, we want to do your interview portion. And they're like, okay, we'll be in contact. And I was like, okay, like thinking, being in the music industry, like when you say like, oh, we'll be in contact, it's like, okay, I'll believe it when I see it.
The check's in the mail.
Yeah, exactly. And so they had reached out like every month after that, and I think it was around May that I went in for my private audition. And then it was like another round each process, I feel like, for each month up until we started filming auditions. And then even then we were there for like a month doing rehearsals, wardrobe, interviews, more rehearsals, different things like that. And then all of a sudden it was like, okay, now you're in front of the judges or in front of the coaches. And it was so much fun though. I've met so many incredible people, some of my best friends that I still talk to this day. I got to work with my idol, Kelly Clarkson, and that was the most crazy thing ever. And then I don't know, just getting to be around all these musicians, I think that was the best part about it, because for where I'm from, there's not many people that do music, and especially, at least in my realm, it's very sports oriented. Like for everyone my age, it was like football, soccer, baseball, softball, it was that sort of thing. And so I was like, oh my God, like I have things in common with people. Like I can talk to people about this. And so that was a really cool feeling.
Well, and definitely, as you were saying earlier, it's better that you were 16 at the time. I mean, it has to be an honor to have somebody reach out to you and give you hand you part of your dream But yet, yeah, I'm not quite there. But when you look back, it's like you really have to be mentally prepared to step into. And granted, you've been training. I understand. Even though an athlete trains, a singer of this caliber has to train as what you've described, from rehearsing from the morning to the evening, and the process of it's not just about singing. That's the one thing nobody looks at in the entertainment industry, no matter what kind of entertainment it is, whether it's writing, whether it's movies, whether it's TV, singing, whatever. It's not just about the final product. There are so many layers that go into making it.
And I think that's what a lot of people don't necessarily realize right off the bat because I don't know, when people think of musicians, they're like, oh my God, like you get to sing and have fun and like do this for like a living and like and it's just fun work. And it's like, there's actually a lot of other things in the background. They just think that you show up, maybe rehearse, and then you just go play. And it's like, oh, if only it was that easy, but no, I mean, but when you love what you do, it doesn't feel like that. I think that's also a big thing. I just remember going in and I felt like I put in the time and effort where I was like, okay, I can be here. Like I have learned enough to know what's kind of going on. I mean, from 10 years old to 16. And it's not like I was just doing this for fun. It was like I was
Right.
homeschooled, rehearsing almost every single day, writing, recording. So it already felt like I was kind of living the lifestyle. I just didn't know how different it would be from a normal musician aspect to TV because there is a little bit of translation between a normal, like you're singing a set somewhere versus it being on live television. There's so many other working components. And I think that's what shocked me the most was like even down to like wardrobe fittings. I was like, oh, like we could just wear whatever. And they're like, yeah, you can wear whatever, but we're going to help you out. And I was like, oh my God. And I was like, I walked in, I'm like, dress me like a Barbie doll. I don't care what you put me in. I was over the moon. That might have been one of my favorite parts, but I am a sucker for fashion and like hair and makeup and things like that. So I was like, oh my God, paint me however you want to paint me. It was one of those things.
Well, and then, I mean, you also, as you were saying, you have camera angles to work on. You have lighting, which lighting is still on the stage as well, but it's a different process because there's a different amount here, there, and wherever the camera is going to be. You have to make sure you know where that camera is going to be. Not that you're going that way you don't break the third wall, you don't want to do that. And I mean, having Kelly as your judge, as your coach, that has to be it's somebody that actually out of most of the judges understands your journey because she's been there. And so
And
she had to be really sympathetic to what you were dealing with.
she, Kelly Clarkson is like one of the most genuine, humble human beings I think I've ever met. And I think that was really cool because I really look up to her in so many ways, more than just aside from music, but who she is as a person. And it's different when you see somebody, you know how people say like, don't meet your idols because like if they up to your idols, it's like you're gonna be it was one of those things. But when I did meet her and then she was everything that I imagined and beyond, that made it the entire experience 100 times more worthwhile. And her coming from, I mean, American Idol and winning the show. And I think I think I was maybe 2 months old when she won, but she's part of the reason why I started singing. Like her songs are the songs that I grew up singing. I was saying Because of You and Breakaway at every single little talent show that I could. We had like the little American Idol game set, like where you just sing it to the microphone on like PS2 or something like that. I'd always sing her a song or Breakaway. She was my first concert ever, and then I get to work with her and it was just like a full circle moment. And then after The Voice ended, she also taught me so much during The Voice, which I thought that was irreplaceable. And that for me, when I was on The Voice, I was kind of going through this kind of weird like self-identity, who I wanted to be as an artist, kind of thing, because right before The Voice, I was making music, but it just wasn't who I was. It was still great music. I listen back to it to this day and I'm like, I love this music, but it just wasn't who I was. And there's nothing wrong with that. But when I walked into The Voice and then I started working with her and she was coaching me and we got to, I think it was my top 24 performance, and I did Nothing Breaks Like a Heart. And if you know the song, it's like it's by Miley Cyrus and it's like a very pop synthy 80s Dolly Parton vibe, which was really cool. But I wanted something where I was able to like really sit and sing, especially because I'm like, this is a singing TV show. I gotta be able to, I gotta be able to sing,
Right.
and not just carry a tune type thing. And so we took, I think it was supposed to be like a 30-minute coaching session, ended up being 2 hours just because she took the time to like help me find myself within that song. And I remember she told me at the end of the day, you have to go home, look at yourself in the mirror and be proud of who you are, because no one else is going to believe in you if you don't believe in yourself first. They can only do that so much, and it's not going to help you. And so that I really took with me. And I came off the show, and because of her, I kind of made a genre switch to country music. And I think that was one of the best things I ever did. Not only as like a songwriter, because I'm able to speak my truth within my songs. Like I wasn't the cool kid growing up. Like I wasn't like, I got invited to my first high school party and I called my mom 10 minutes into it. And I was like, they're drinking. And then she was like, I'm on my way. Never was invited to a party again. But I was thinking about that stuff and I was like, I can't even relate to this. Like, this is not me.
Yeah, yeah, I get it. I get it.
I was so uncool. Everyone was like, oh, no personality Presley. Yeah. And I was all, what? I got a personality. We just don't blend well.
Yeah.
But it was just one of those things. And then I came off The Voice and went into country music, and now I play so many shows. I get to open up for so many artists I've looked up to for so long. And honestly, I do owe a lot of it to Kelly because of the things that she told me.
Well, and that's the thing. Some people will go and they will they'll be mentored, but they will take nothing away with it. They will still do what they want to do. They will still continue their process the way they have been doing it. And, I have heard many a times, do not meet your idols. And I've met my idols. And I think if you look at them as, guess what, they're normal people with really cool jobs, then you're not blown away and going, oh my gosh, that was just awful. Because sometimes, yeah, they're going to have a bad day, and other times they're going to have a great day. You just have to read the room, just like with anybody else.
Yep.
But
No,
most people, go ahead.
no, do your
Okay.
thing.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
No, but it's like that was kind of like the big thing for me. Especially as I get to open up for so many of these artists and that I have looked up to for so long, and I'm like, they come off and I'm like, they're hanging out and they're doing everything, and I'm like, this is not like you're this person. Like why? Like, but they're normal people, and I think that's the coolest thing is that they're. And I'm not gonna say every single person is the nicest ever, but that's just the way life is. It doesn't matter what industry you're in. But also 99% of the people there are some of the most genuine people you're ever going to meet. And the 1%, half the time, it's still, they're just having a bad day.
Mm-hmm.
Granted, I've been so fortunate to not had any bad experiences with anybody, but I know that it does happen. I mean, they could have gotten a car accident right beforehand and they're just pissed off. Like, it's just one of those things. Just put a damper on their day.
Yeah, and I mean that's the thing. When we look at celebrity, you have such this high level of scrutiny that you can't be anybody. And I mean, I know the big deal with Taylor Swift. Not I feel sorry for her because to me, all that's coming is the same thing we did Britney. You build people up so high and then you turn on them. And that's the culture of celebrity. I'm sorry. It's happened to Elizabeth Taylor. It's happened to really big name celebrities. And yes, now people are lifting Britney back up, but they tore her down back in the day. And that's what scares me about Taylor Swift is like she is so built up right now that when do people start going after her?
Yeah. I 100% agree with that. And I think because when you're in the public eye, obviously you're viewed at more closely, and there's more people watching you. And so they're saying like, and it's horrible to say, but some people prey on people's downfalls, looking for something to get mad about, or they're looking at something to start an issue with. And it's scary to think because it's like, we're all human. We all make mistakes.
Yeah.
But also, this is the life that we live. But also, if you live your truth, then there's nothing to apologize for.
Right.
And
And not everybody, you're not going to be able to please everybody. And that's the biggest lesson that any of us can learn.
I remember that was the big one for me when I was on The Voice. You know, when they always tell you don't read the comments, and then I did. It was like my mom went to bed right next to me, and then I was like, I'm still awake, watching my audition real fast or whatever it was, and then I look at the comments, and I'm like, oh, good one, bad one. I'm like, oh, soul crushed. But yeah, it's like it's one of those things. You're never going to be able to please anybody or everybody.
Right.
And as long as you know within yourself that you are secure and that you are confident and you're comfortable and that it doesn't matter what people are saying about you, because people say things just to say things. Half the time when they get in front of your face, they are not going to say the same thing, and they're going to act like your best friend. It's one of those things. But it's, I don't know, I think it might be just the weird, everything is behind a screen, so they're like, oh, they feel all big and bold, and then it's like when it really comes down to it, it's like these are people's feelings. This is
I,
not something to play with.
no, but they don't. And that's the thing. It's like the empathy and compassion meter when you're looking at internet trolls doesn't exist. I mean, I've had, not me personally, but there's been people that have reviewed other writers' books, and they'll give it a 1 star on Goodreads because it's not the genre that they like. Or an Amazon review for 1 star saying, well, the cards weren't cut properly. The book wasn't done this way. Or the book didn't arrive on time. That has nothing to do with the person writing the book. So, I mean, you have to I used to do a live podcast, and I had somebody tell me, you're using a filter. I'm like, no, I'm not. Yes, you are. Do you have her? And the funny thing is, she's going at me. Yes, she has no profile picture. So, yeah, there you go.
That's how it always goes.
Mm-hmm.
And like for me, I have no problem with social media. Like I love social. I have a love-hate relationship with social media. Let me put it that way. I love social media for when I'm keeping up with my friends, and then people are doing exciting things, and I'm like, oh my god, this is so cool. But then it's also very unrealistic. A lot of the time, which is really scary because, yeah, like obviously you want to post the best version of yourself. But then also, where's the humility in that? Like, where is the human factor of, oh, like, I don't know. I always say, I wish Instagram would go back to the days where we could post pictures of a tree and everyone's like, oh, it's still great. Beautiful tree. Like, let it be simple again. Where not everything is so articulated, but then there's also a beauty of things being articulated. So it's like, there's pros and cons of it all.
I mean, it's nice to be able to make yourself look different in a filter. It's fun, sure. But when this becomes your norm, that you're posting pictures that are consistently filtered, what happens when somebody actually sees you in person and it's like, damn, what happened to you?
That
I mean,
is not the same person right there.
I mean, and that's the thing about public figures. It's like if you're a public figure, you have to weigh the pros and cons, because yeah, you want that great perfect picture, but if somebody sees you, they're going to either think that's a really old picture, or you're not selling what you're
throwing right now.
Mhm.
But it can be fun sometimes, and so I feel like even the whole thing with about Facetune and what's it called, I'm like, I'm not gonna lie to anybody. Out once in a while, if I got a nice blemish or something, or my makeup's a little messed up, I might just like smooth it out, because it can look like that. It may not look like it right now, but I'm not gonna go too unrealistic. But it can also be disheartening, especially for young girls. I remember growing up for myself, because I used to really do it back in the day, because I was like, oh, trying to fit within the mold and trying to, I don't know, there was so many standards of social media beauty, and so that could be really harming on people. But I think nowadays we're getting away from it, which is really cool, to just celebrate like who we are and like be comfortable in our own bodies and those sorts of things. I think that it's the most healthy way of living, I feel like.
But see, we didn't have, I'm Gen X. I will say that I'm Gen X, and we didn't have social media. However, we had magazines that were in our face and TV, and you're supposed to look this way, and you're supposed to wear this. And yes, you're supposed to yes, back in my day, you're supposed to wear the big bow in your hair and the big bangs. And well, I have baby fine hair. My hair, yes, I could rock some height with Aquanet, but half the stuff that everybody was doing, I couldn't do. And so you have to try to fit in, and you don't fit in, and it's like, well, then what?
Yeah.
So I mean, even I think the media, just the media, not even social media, but the media and marketing has always just made you feel uncomfortable being you. And yeah, there is that backlash now with like older actresses and stuff saying, this is me. Pam Anderson, this is me. Look, I have no makeup on. Either like me or don't. And I applaud that.
Like it shouldn't matter if people look a certain way. I mean, granted, if that's like for myself, I know I love wearing makeup, but I don't wear makeup to I guess appease other people. I wear makeup because I love wearing makeup. Like that sort of thing. I've always been the type that's like 3 a.m. putting on some blue eyeshadow everywhere, the thickest lashes ever, and then I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go take a shower, go to bed. Like that sort of thing. Like I'm not
Yeah.
going anywhere. I'm not taking pictures. I'm just doing it for myself. And I think that's a big thing. But it also when you add those layers on, you kind of become something and people look at that like as that as a whole and not separating you from what you look like or what you do or anything like that. It's all just combined, which is a nice thing if it's consistent in a way, but then also it shouldn't matter because we should be able to just be who we are.
Hmm. That's really the gift I had with my late husband was he was legally blind at one point. And so it didn't matter what I looked like. It didn't matter if I wore makeup, if whatever I did was for me. It didn't matter to him because he loved me for me. And so that was a blessing. But when he passed, it was like, oh, wait, now I have to kind of fall back into those trappings a little bit. Not that I do. I mean, for this, yes. And if I go do other public things, yes. But if I go grocery shopping, no,
No,
you're getting me.
but
Not happening. And I think that's we have to be comfortable with however we want. If you're comfortable wearing makeup, then wear it. And if you're comfortable not, if it makes you uncomfortable wearing it, then don't. We have to get to a point where we're not falling for everybody's labels.
no, and that I think is the biggest thing. And as I think social media grows and everything like that, it is really cool to see so many people living their truth and not, I guess, falling under the, I don't know, I call them limitations or like guidelines that you want to, if you want to call it that. They're just, everyone's finding their own identity. And I think a lot of people, I mean, I'm number one, I will say, I'm the first person to be like, yeah, I follow trends. I love the trends because sometimes they're really cute, but sometimes I'm like, that's just not for me. Like the whole thing about, what is it, free people and they have like their bow something pants. I don't know. It like literally looks like a balloon. And I'm like, that's a trend that I'm not gonna hop on, but I can appreciate everyone who is wearing them because they're doing their own thing. Like they're
Somebody
this is a horrible analogy. I'm so sorry.
No, 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 no. It made me think of I was watching Fashion Week and somebody made a couple of outfits with googly eyes.
See?
But
Exactly.
but wait, then they put these like face things on that had googly eyes all over. It was the funniest thing in the world. It's like, okay, would anybody actually wear this?
You'll never know.
I mean, I've followed fashion for a long time in the 80s, and yes, we've had some outlandish designs. But yeah, this was kind of one of those things where I was like, okay.
You're like, all right, I guess this is where it's going now.
If it floats your boat, I feel like somebody's watching me, but okay. Maybe
Exactly.
it's to brighten somebody's day. Who knows?
Who knows?
Um, so you just played Nam,
Yes.
correct? That had to be a pretty big deal for you.
That honestly, that was one of the coolest things ever. But I've been going to NAM for I think the first time I went to NAM I was 14, maybe 15. And I remember I walked in and I was like, this is Disneyland right now. Like I'm across from the actual Disneyland, but like this is
Hmm.
Disneyland for me. Like I enjoyed it so much. I met so many incredible people. I mean, all of the equipment, even just like, and then the past couple years, I think this is my third year really playing at NAM. The first year I got to play over at the West End, and then the second year was the Hyatt. And then this year I got to play at the Westin again, and then I got one of the main stages, and that was one of the coolest things ever. I remember the first time I went to NAMM, and it was right after COVID. And so coming from like what it was beforehand to where it was right after, it was kind of like, I don't know, COVID obviously took a damper on a lot of things, but NAMM, I feel like hit the hardest. It just wasn't, it was the same, but it wasn't the same. Like the energy, everything was like
Muted.
slow. Yeah. That's just what it felt like. It felt like it was muted. Not sound wise, because that is the loudest
Right.
place ever, but it was just one of those things. And then it would slowly start to grow. And then this past year, I'm very thankful that I got to play on the main stage this year, because this year I feel like was like right back to where it was, if not better, than where it left off. And that was really cool. And I don't know, I love NAMM because I get to see so many people that I haven't seen in so long. It's like the one big reunion from everybody like across the country that kind of flies in for this specific event. And I don't know, and then just getting to work with everybody. Everyone is such professionals, and I'm like, yeah, this is what happens when you put a bunch of musicians in the room together, or sound guys or tech guys that all know what they're doing. And I'm like, this is incredible. I was literally like walking on stage with like the biggest smile. I walked off stage and I was like, yeah, I'm a sucker for sound though. Like when the sound is nice at a show, I'm like, I am floored by it.
Well, yeah, it takes a lot to make sure that sound is just perfect, because there's some venues. There's a place that was called the Sears Center. I think it's now the Now Vitamin Center. And I went to a concert there the first night it opened, and I was just kind of like, this is bad. This is really bad. And I mean, we had seats up. We didn't have great seats, but still, even in the not so great seats, the sound's supposed to be decent. And I don't blame the band. I blame who designed the stadium.
Yeah.
And they haven't really had concerts there since. So that should tell you everything you need to know.
I got a few
Um,
complaints about it.
do what?
So they might have got a few complaints, and they're like, maybe we'll stick to different sorts of
Sporting events.
might be better.
So they consider you country's rising star there. How does that feel?
That feels incredible, I will say. I think there's something so special about always playing near my hometown, because I'm from Norco, California, which is not too far from Anaheim. And then when they got to say it, like when they said it out loud, and I was like, oh my God. Like I was like, I feel so cool right now. And I don't know, it's never in a million years would I think this is where my life is would be. Like I thought I'd be playing soccer. I thought I'd be in college right now. I'm going on, if not on my last year. I don't know. And then I felt like I took it just a full 180, and then it has been so much fun. I met so many incredible people. I love the people that I work with, and I think that's what makes it even more worthwhile. Um, and I don't know. I think it's really cool getting to see like the hard work that I put in, as well as the people around me that for everything that they do. Like all of it's kind of paying off now.
Mm-hmm.
And it's weird to think, because a lot of my peers are a lot older than me, but we've been doing music the same amount of time. And so that's like when it can get tricky, because I see like, oh, they could be anywhere from like 10 to 15 years older than me, but then they're some of my best friends. But then we've been doing music the same amount of time, and they have so much more success or anything like that. And it's just like, oh, okay, like we're all in this together.
Mm-hmm.
And so for me to be like compared to them, because I look at them, I respect them in so many different ways, more than one. And I think because of that and their hard work and their dedication, oh my gosh, and there's there's the cat coming in.
It's okay. It's okay. Pretty kitty.
Don't even worry. We'll have to edit that one out.
Nah, I have a cat that sometimes shows up, so it's all good.
And so to be there with them, I don't know, it just feels really cool. And that this hard work is like, it's all finally coming to fruition, because I've been doing this for a while, but I don't know, it's just, I feel like within especially the past 5 years, it's really been like, okay, this is go time now.
Well, I mean, you also had the Write Up in People magazine. You're on tour. You're opening for other people. My question for you though is, you are so far removed from the capital of country. Are there any
Yes.
plans to move out that way?
Oh, 100%. I split time now between here and Tennessee. I I go out there about once a month ish for about a week and a half to 2 weeks. So I'm headed back out there on Saturday, and I'm very excited. I'll be out there for CRS, and then I'm recording new songs and then writing in the meetings and things like that. And my music, especially, I feel like the stuff that I have in the past is more of like that pop country kind of feel. But we're kind of digging into a little bit more between a little bit of everything. There's a little bit of like that southern rock because I love me some rock. Like one of my favorite bands of all time is Heart. Like that is, and so I'm like, there's little influences of that, but then there's also a lot of like traditional country within the ballads and things. And so I think putting all that together, at least music wise, kind of blends more into what country is nowadays. But as for moving wise, I'd be out there in a heartbeat. I love it out there. It is my favorite place. I call it my home away from home because that's just what it is to me. I mean, I have family out there, like my uncle, my aunt live out there, and I always get to stay with them. And so it's like I still have like a sense of like home with me.
Mhm.
But then when I'm out there, I'm like, I'm the happiest out there. I'm not gonna lie. Like it is my favorite place ever. I'm like, I love to work though. I am like that's what keeps me sane. When I'm not working, I'm like, okay, what do I do? I'm gonna go stir crazy right here.
Well, and I mean, country is having a huge resurgence now, and this happened in the early '80s before we went into the more synth-oriented stuff. We had Urban Cowboy came out, and country kind of just had this explosive comeback. And so now with country coming back, I'm like, well, here we are again. So you are riding the wave, and I was going to ask if you had any new music coming out because it looks like most of the stuff you had come out back in 2022. So obviously you do have new stuff. So when are you planning on releasing the new stuff? I mean, I know it's in process, and that's a whole process in itself, but is there a new single coming out anytime soon?
Very, very soon. So I can't say too much about it
I know.
just yet, but it's a lot sooner than everyone will think.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Fair enough. So something in the orange. I read your write up that you wanted to respond,
Yeah.
and that's the response song. And I thought I listened to that today, and I thought it's country, but it's not country, and so it's very. Did you play guitar on it? That's what I want to ask too.
I wish I did, but I did not. I'm still not the greatest guitar player, but I definitely was not when I heard that song. I think I picked up the guitar very seriously just recently. And so I had my guitarist, I went over to his house and I was like, hey, can you help me out here? And so he learned the song right then and there, and then put down it on like GarageBand because I did it all myself. And I was like, I don't know how to do any of this. Watched a class on like mix and mastering for dummies on YouTube. And I was like, okay, do that, do that, do that. Oh, that sounds bad. And then I was like, this is the product. It was just something that was kind of like a fun little project, but also I didn't think would go anywhere. Um, Also, you can cut me off. I ramble a
No,
lot.
you're fine. You're fine. I,
All you asked was, did you play guitar on it?
no, it's fine. But here's the thing. If we were sitting somewhere talking, you're gonna ramble on, and it's fine. And that's the way this show works, and that's the way life works. If you're having a legitimate conversation, one subject can lead to another subject that can take you down a rabbit hole, and then you're like, where were we talking about anyway? You
I
know,
feel like that's every single time I answer.
trust me, I sometimes ramble myself. I think the longest podcast I've done is 2 hours on air and then 2 hours off air.
That's how you know it was a good conversation though.
Yeah, yeah, it was an intense conversation too. So break my heart. Let's talk a little bit about that. Have you experienced that heartbreak yet? I hope not.
I have,
Mm.
yes. But I wrote the song prior to. Um but I was also very late to the whole dating game. That sort of thing. And so I'd never really I didn't understand the feelings, but I knew like I liked somebody and I was like, oh, I want to write a song about it. And so I was saying basically, if anybody was to break my heart, I want it to be this person because I at least want to say that I gave it a shot and that I was in it with this person. And I didn't care if it was like over and over again. Granted, that probably isn't the healthiest way of living. Don't, fool me once, shame on you, fool me twice, shame on me at that point. But I mean, metaphorically speaking, it's a nice way to be like, if I want to be with this person, but also kind of gives like I don't know, when you listen to the hook of Break My Heart, you think it's going to be like, oh, this person's going to break my heart, blah, blah, blah. But it's like, no, you haven't yet. But if you're going to, the only person I'll let is this person. And I thought that was really cool. I wrote it with Nick Autry and Bobby McLam. And I just remember the song, I feel like it came together so fast. It was one of those things where it was just like we were in the right, and then we got the hook idea, and then it was just like chorus was there, and then all of a sudden the verse was there, and we were like, okay, cool. Like, this is finished products. Like, we got it. And that was a really cool feeling.
That's the way those some big hits come together. They come together that quickly. And there's no rhyme, there's no reason. It's just the muse working, and here you go. And metaphorically, you're sitting there saying, yeah, but here's the thing, in real relationships, sometimes when you break up, yeah, they come back. And whether you want them to, and okay, so I don't know if you know this, I read cards, I read tarot cards. And yes, they will have clients that come back and say, is he coming back? And it's like, there's a thing of there's an X for there a reason, but I can speak because of my first ex and my ex-husband. They came back so many times, and it's like, no, we're not going down that road. But they come back.
It happens. I mean, I have yet to experience that. I usually am the type of person, once I move on from somebody, I'm like, that chapter is kind of closed. Like, it's not reopening. But I think if anything with friends, I'm like, okay, granted, there's not been many experiences for that to happen. I have very dear and close friends where they've all been like lifetime friends at this point. And I'm like, we don't even have to talk every
Yeah.
day. I feel like every once a month, or once every 2 months, and it's like we pick up right where we left off. Um, but yeah, I mean, I definitely have a lot of friends though that take them back after it. I look at them and I'm like, girl, what are you doing? Like, like, I know I can't give too much advice, but like this one, I know I'm right on.
I mean, I ended my ex-husband and I ended things, and then he calls me up one day and he caps this story that he came down to New Orleans to see me. That's when I was living back there, and he's telling me how he just came to the city, didn't call me, didn't know where I was, and he just wanted to be near me. And I'm like, yeah, I'm not buying this to save your life, but I didn't say it to him. Just like, And then, I mean, it just, there was a couple of the times I remarried. We went to my stepdaughter's wedding, and he's like hitting on me in front of my husband. It's like, dude, he hit on me in front of his girlfriend. It's like, dude, just get over yourself. I'm not, and here's the thing. I was 22 when I married him, or 22 when I met him. And the fact is, I'm not that person anymore. That 22-year-old grew up. So yeah, you're barking up the wrong tree, dude.
Well, yeah, and the thing is, people, I feel like, at least in relationships, like with previous relationships, I think people like the idea of the person that you used to be, but then as you guys get older and you grow and you learn more things, it's like you kind of become different people, and it's whether or not you blend together as you grow, and
Hmm.
that's usually when the change happens. Yeah, I just remember the previous relationship, and I was like, we are not the same people anymore, and that's okay. That's totally fine. But don't come calling back asking like you want that person because she's long gone. Like, she learned. Sorry, we gotta edit that one out. Oh, good.
It's okay. Things happen. We're
That's
not.
what happens.
If we were live, it would be that way.
Should
It's
I continue from where I left
Yes,
off?
that's fine.
There we go. Yeah. But things like that, I feel like people, they grow apart in different ways, and that's not to be a bad thing. And that's just growing up and going through life, and different life experiences change us to who we are today. Like, I know I'm not the same person as who I was even a year ago. Um, I've learned a lot, and I feel like as you learn and grow, there's more boundaries and things that you put up, and it's not worth it to put up with them anymore. Or the things that you did put up with before, that you're,
Hmm.
no, it's not worth it anymore. Like, why am I sacrificing my happiness for somebody else's when it's not even like we're in the middle. Like it's completely different. Like this person is living on a high while I am down low on the ground type thing.
Mhm.
Um, and that's kind of like what I had to learn through it all. And so that's why I'm like, when I say I'm usually done with somebody after something, I think that's because it's been pretty substantial where I'm like, why did I ever put up with that? I had the rose colored glasses on. That's what that meant.
Oh yeah. I mean, it happens because it's very easy to get to a point where you see somebody one way where they're better, and then you don't realize that they may be zapping your energy. You don't realize that they may be playing manipulating you. You don't realize it. And then when you do, you're like, what the hell? And so I had a situation with a friendship recently like this, and somebody said it very eloquently. Not everybody's coming with you on this journey, and some people are just there for a season, and you just have to let it. You have to let it go.
That could be, but when I feel like when you're, at least for myself, I'm a very loyal person.
Mhm.
Like when it comes to friends, both relationships, like I am all for them. I want them to succeed. I want them to win. And I also realize if that doesn't involve me in any way, I can understand that. Like if I don't have to be a part of that, and I think that's wishing the best on people and understanding the growth. That's like, okay, like how can I don't know if that makes sense. If you understand what I'm saying, it's kind of,
I do, I should say it this way. This thing that happened was like, this wasn't the first time. This wasn't me going, oh yeah, okay, you're this. Oh no, this was, you've shown me 3 or 4 times who you really are, and now I'm really paying attention, and I'm going back looking at the receipts, going, why didn't you wake up sooner?
oh, see, I understand that, girl.
Yeah, I
Completely.
figured you did when you said you were loyal. I'm like, I'm loyal. I get it.
I was not calling you not loyal,
No, I
by the
know, no, 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 no. I know that. I know that. I wanted to clarify that I understood where you were coming from, because
yeah.
yeah, this wasn't something that was just like,
Like
no,
I'm with them through and through type thing. And until one point when you wake up and you realize and you're like, holy crap. Like who am I to let this happen? Because you never let that happen with anything else. Or you tell somebody else, like you, it's like when you tell somebody a piece of advice and it's like it's great advice, but then you can't listen to it yourself. It's one of those things. That's because you're in the situation. You're not set apart from it, like how you're looking at other people. And so that's a lot of like my reasonings on like I've if something happens, I like take myself out of the equation,
hmm
put it in like my friend's perspective and be like, if this person went through it, what would I tell them? Like what does it look like? And then I usually have my answer because I'm like, why am I tolerating this?
well, I look back at my first marriage, and my ex-husband would be sitting on the couch. He didn't want to get up off the couch, and he'd look at me, babe, get me a Dr. Pepper. I'll give you a kiss. And here's the thing: back then, I'm like, okay, because I was a people pleaser, and I didn't want to upset, and I wanted to make sure he was happy, and so I would go do that. And now I look back, and I'm like, what was wrong with you? He was I mean, because it wasn't like just every now and then. This was a repeated occurrence. It's like, what was wrong with you?
That's
You
what you
should
say. You got your own 2 feet. Go use them.
exactly get off your butt and go get your own. I mean, it just, I look back and it's like, but that's the thing about being able to look back and see how far you've grown and see how you've changed. And for me, I'm a writer, so I get to write stuff, and for you, you get to write lyrics about your experience. And I think, in a way, whether it be a book or lyrics, you can impart wisdom on people whether you realize it or not, because somebody else had that experience and can relate, and maybe your song makes them cry or reminisce about a relationship, and those are growth points, because for you, you eventually become a soundtrack for somebody.
I think one of the coolest ones that I had where it was like really meant something, not only for myself, but for a lot of different people. It was a song that I wrote about my dad called Half That Strong. And I wrote it for his birthday. And I mean, my dad is like one of my best friends. He's one of my between him and my mom, they're my best friends and they're my biggest inspirations in life because they've gone through so much. And not like of like my dad's upbringing and my mom's upbringing and then them together and everything that they did it was just like, how could I write a song that embodied who my dad was? And the way I feel about him, because I'm not the greatest at speaking my feelings. As I get older, I'm better at it. But before that, I was like, feelings gross. Like, get away from me. Like, no, I was very surface level. And then on the inside, I was like, I'm dying. It was one of those things. But vulnerability is a thing I've learned. And so I wrote the song for him, and I knew how much it meant to myself, and I know how much it meant to my dad. And so when I got to Father's Day last year, I was like, I want to put this song out, or not last year, a couple of years back, but I put the song out just as a way, because I know somebody else can relate to it in some way, even if it's not about their dad, but maybe it's about like their their mom, like their aunt, their uncle, a friend, or somebody that really like shaped them out to who they are, and like you wish you could be half that person, because if you did, you'd be like almost unstoppable. Um, I remember I got quite a few DMs about how the song meant to them and like who it was about. And I think that is, as a songwriter, that was one of the coolest feelings, to know that your song kind of like impacted somebody and that they
Mhm.
can relate to it. Not even just like in a way, but it's like lyric for lyric, like it worked in that scenario. And it doesn't have to every single time, but that was really special. And it was just like, oh my God, like this is, some people use that as like their father daughter dance type thing at their wedding. And I was like, this is like the coolest thing ever. Um, and I'm very, very grateful for that
Well,
part of songwriting and art.
it's a gift. It's a gift, and I think as musicians, you don't necessarily realize what you create can have such an impact for a moment. And not to be Debbie Downer here, but there's a group that wrote a song called Face for Today, and it talks about a man facing the wall of death. And when I took my husband off life support, I got in my car, and this song had been out since 2015, and he passed in 2020. And I didn't even think I really never listened to the song, in all honesty. And it was with one of my favorite bands, but I never really listened to it. And so I hung up with my friend after I told her what I was doing. I was crying in my car, and I'm like, I composed myself. I'm like, all right, I'm ready to go. So I start driving, and here comes a song, and it's talking about this man going down this downward spiral, facing the wall of death. And that's what my husband was doing. And so it was so profound in that moment, that lyric. And I think that's one thing we don't look at as when we listen to music, there are certain songs and certain moments that are forever remembered.
I mean, I feel like for myself, the one that really hit me like recently, where I was like, um, it was actually a Megan Maroney song, and I feel like, when you kind of, things had happened where I was like, okay, like yeah, and it's Girl in the Mirror, and it's like the girl in the mirror, she's lost her damn mind, she's gotten used to crying all the time, and I like listened to it, and I was like, did she read my diary or something? Like why does she know this like word for word type thing? No, she didn't. Turns out I've never had an original experience.
Oh, but it's your original experience. It's slightly different
Exactly.
than hers.
Yes, but I was like, oh my God, like there's other songs before that where I was able to relate to it, but like where it felt like it was pinpointing every single thing. And I was like,
Mm-hmm.
this is why I love music. This is why I love that I get to do this, because of the reach that it has and that people can relate to it in so many different ways.
So, a little off topic, but on topic, who would be the dream artist you'd want to work with?
It's like, okay,
I
can
know
you
there's
ask?
like a whole laundry list, most likely for you.
Um, I think I think getting to write with Ashley McBride would be one of my top people. I love her writing style, and I love that you're able to really visualize what you hear. Like there's so much ooh, there's so much scenery in it, and I think that's the coolest thing. I love when you're able to listen to a song and you can close your eyes and you're like right there in that moment. You know exactly what's going on. Um, and then but then also like to sing a song, I think Chris Stapleton would be my main one.
So, where would be your perfect dream venue?
Oh God.
You didn't know there was going to be a quiz, did you?
No, I didn't. Like this is supposed to be easy. I'm just kidding. um, Dream venue.
Hmm.
Hmm. Honestly, I don't know if there really would be one particular. I mean, okay, I can go the very, what is the right word? The very like stereotypical answer as a country artist, but that's like the Ryman to play there or the Opry. Um,
But Red Rocks would be pretty cool.
that was what I was gonna say with it after. Because it was like, you go on tour, I've seen all the videos. I think Red Rocks is the coolest venue I've ever seen. I mean, to have all of that in the background and then just to have the amount of seating there.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So, is there anything that we didn't cover that you'd like to add?
Oh, I don't think so. I think I'm going to be playing a lot of shows this year and I'm traveling a lot, which I'm very excited for. I have almost all the way up until July booked out across the country type thing. And so if people want to see where I'm going to be stopping at, people can go to my website, which is presley.tennant.com. Not Presley.Tennant, PresleyTennant.com. Oh my gosh.
It's okay. It's going to be a link in the bio, so there won't be any confusion.
One of those, and everything is linked there from tour dates to new music that's going to be coming out very soon, as well as merchandise, everything, or like a little contact button. So if people want to reach out, they can.
And your fan club.
Yes, and the fan club.
Don't forget that, because that's on there as well. All right. Well, it's been a blast talking to you.
Thank you so much. It's been so wonderful getting to talk to you too.
You might have heard my voice hosting the Better Two podcast, but did you know I'm also the mastermind behind the Better to Burnout book series? The stories unravel the lives of Nigel Hartigan, the groovy bassist of Sambuca Fedora, the stunning singer model Ava Richards, and the suave record executive singer Russell Langford. Love, romance, and drama run rampant as their lives tangle up. But brace yourself, folks, because not every tale has a happy ending. Snag your copy today from most online booksellers. Presley was very down to earth. And I think that when you look at somebody who has their dream and they have the people, meaning their parents, that are willing to support their dream, you can go far because it instills in you that you have that support, that you have somebody that doesn't doubt you, that besides your own belief in yourself, you have people that are cheering you on, that are willing to do things to help you make your dream a reality. And that is a gift. That is a gift that we didn't really even broach deeply, but it is really a gift to have that. And to intuitively know that this is where I'm going to go. I mean, when she talks about being 7 years old, calling the vocal coach saying, "Hi, can you come over to my house and teach me?" It's kind of amusing. But we didn't only talk about music. I mean, we talked about life. And I think that's where we really need to be, because when you look at what goes into a song lyric, there is that moment of honesty in a lot of lyrics. Now, granted, some artists don't write their music and some artists collaborate, and that's okay either way. But whoever writes those lyrics and creates that music, when it resonates with us in our soul, in our heart, when it evokes emotion, whether it's joy, sadness, you know, the father daughter dance at our wedding, that's a song that's always going to be there. That's always going to be burned in the mind. And it becomes the soundtrack of our lives. And I think that's important, that we look at music as not just the one song. I mean, even if it's a one hit wonder song, if it's still held meaning for you, then it's important. My youngest daughter loved this song by Escape called Living in the Wild Wild West. I'm sure if I asked her now, because she was like 4 at the time, she'd think I was nuts. But anytime I hear that song, I think of her because that was her song. She loved it. She loved it so much, she had to crank the radio up every time she heard it. So that song became part of a soundtrack for me because it was her song. And I still remember my favorite song when I was a kid, which was Melody's Brand New Key. So even as children, we have those things that imprint on us that make us love that music, love things that create that memory, that brings that joy. And even a song that for no reason will make you cry. So Presley will have some music out, and it's possible because I know a secret. By the time you listen to this, or around the time where you're listening to this, if you check on her website, you're going to find out that there's music coming out very, very shortly, if it's not already out. So I would recommend tuning in to listen to her new music. And I would recommend checking out her on tour because she's going to be on tour. Like she said, she's booked out through July. So you never know where you might run across her. So I hope you guys enjoyed the podcast as always. And whenever you're listening to it, know that I appreciate it. I'd like to thank, as always, Fast Susie for the music and Rich Zai from Third Ear Audio for doing the audio production. We did have some glitches, but as her and I talked about, Zoom or whichever site or the internet sometimes isn't always perfect. And we just have to deal with the issues and keep rolling. And so that's what we did. So if there's any technical issues, I apologize. And Rich can't necessarily clean those up because they are what they are. So, on that note, I hope you guys have a wonderful evening, weekend, whenever you're listening. And I thank you, as always, for listening because it means a lot. So, until then, I'll catch you next time, guys. Bye.